All right, we're going to do a short routine, some of it done kneeling on your hands and knees on the floor, and just a couple things you could do on the wall. When you get set up, if time allows, make space to organize and just feel your body using your breath to get centered. You want to start with your hands about shoulder width apart, fingertips spread wide, and keep your back straight and then just push away from the floor very gently with your arms and your legs so you feel like you're actively resisting gravity. When you breathe in, you're going to inhale through your nose, observe your rib cage expanding in every direction. As you exhale, compress your abs, glide your shoulder blades down just a little so they feel like they're sitting on the rib cage. Take another breath in, feel the ribs expanding out to the sides and across your mid back. And when you exhale, imagine a sling of support underneath you, just compressing all the soft tissue in the front. Now we're going to add a little rocking back and forth. I want you to keep your back straight, and that's going to limit how far you can go back. If you keep your pelvis neutral, as you hinge back towards your heels, you'll hit this point where you feel like your sit bones are really pushing backwards towards the wall. And if they go further, you're going to sit on your heels. So I want you to keep lifting and pushing back so we get that traction-y feeling, and then shift forward. And just get a nice bounce back and forth over your wrists. And just one more time. Okay, now take one leg, cross it over the other leg so it sits into the knee pit, and you can adjust your hands over the side a little so you feel more centered. Then you're going to swing your hips side to side so that you're swinging the foot in the air back and forth, and let your shoulders start to alternate between shrugging and depressing to go along with that side bend. Last two, and one. Okay, switch your legs and just reorganize that. So get one tucked behind the other. Center out over your shoulders. And then just get the swing going with your legs first. So that's bringing you into a hip hike back and forth. And then to increase the side bending, you throw your shoulders into a little bit back and forth. And let's do 3 and 2. Let the head and neck follow. 1. Come back to the center and let's get squared off again. Leave just a little bit of space in between your knees and tuck your toes underneath your feet. Now we're going to do a small weight shift to work your shoulders a little bit. Shift your weight forward onto your shoulders more. You're going to pick your knees up, and at the same time, I want you to just push back a little bit towards your feet. So now you're going to hold that hover and then drop your knees. So we're going to shift into the hands. Then as you lift the knees, you're going to very slightly shift back towards your toes. Hold there for a breath in. Exhale to come back down. 2 more times, shifting forward first, and then push back and up. So that traction's out through the wrists, keep pressure off of them, and then back down. I mean, there's some pressure on them, but less pressure on them. Lifting up, shifting back. Hold there to breathe in, and then lower back down. Now, I want to go to a tougher exercise where we're holding a full plank. If you don't feel up for that, do like 4 or 5 more reps of what we just finished. Otherwise, we're going to lift up into a full plank and go through a series on one leg. So go ahead, extend one leg at a time, organize that plank. Now as you breathe in, lift your leg to hip height, shift back and point your toes, shift forward and flex your foot, then lower your leg back down. And let's alternate, lifting your leg, shift back, point, shift forward, flex, lower it down, drop to your knees, and then shift back. We're going to go through that 2 more times. Shift forward into your arms, and then go ahead and press up to that full plank. Inhale to lift your leg. Exhale, shift back and point. Shift forward and flex as you inhale. Exhale, place your leg back down. Inhale, lift. Shift back, point. Shift forward, flex. Lay your foot down, drop your knees down, sit it back. And just full breath in and out. Last time. Shift forward, pop it on up, and again, inhale to lift the leg. Exhale, point and shift back. Inhale, shift it forward. Exhale, lower the leg. Other one comes up. Shift back, point. Shift forward, flex. Lower the leg down, drop to the knees. Sit all the way back into a shell stretch. All right, so last thing in this kneeling series, we're going to do a thread the needle. So just come up a little bit off that full child's pose. You're going to take one arm, thread it underneath the other arm, pulse back at your hips and twist for 3, 2, 1. Inhale as you come back to the center. And other side, twisting 3. So my hips are going back and up as I pulse in more of a hinge. Again, not quite sitting down into that child's pose. And 2 and 3. Back to center and twist. 2, 3. One more to each side. And rotate. Keep looking where that hand's reaching. Back to center and twist. 2, 3. Back to center. All right, so I'm going to stand up and I'm going to come over. I just want to see if there'd be a good view. Okay, so next I'm going to do a specific kind of hinge. So you want to set up far enough away from the wall that if you put your foot, so I've got my foot about even with the knee, and the leg in the air is just slightly back of the other one. And then I'm going to try to square off the hips. Now I'm going to stand with the weight on the floor foot, and then I'm going to use the wall foot to shift my body weight forward and backwards from the ankle. And this is going to be work in the back of the legs. You'll feel it your hamstrings and your glutes. And then just a lot of stabilization work in the front. One more time. All right, now hold your start position. Put a soft bend in the standing leg. And you're going to hinge forward at the hips with your back straight. And then rise back up with your weight over your heel. Now I'm going to have you keep doing a whole set, but I'm going to show you different arm options. So starting with your hands at your hips is a great way to feel that you're hinging and actually moving your pelvis. As you move your hands higher up your body, it's going to increase the load of your torso, the heaviness you feel in the back of your hips when you're bringing your torso back up. You could take your hands to here. Okay, so that's even more load. Make sure you're still rising up with your weight over your standing heel. This gets way tough. And if you're feeling super duper crazy, just kidding, I don't know if that's crazy, but you could try this. Much longer lever. It's like you're adding 6 inches to the length of your torso. One more time. All right, so hopefully you just stayed with whichever was your best challenge. Let's switch legs. So we go back to that upright posture and just that very tiny shift forward and back. Here, just pretend like you're like a log and the whole movement's coming from your ankle, keeping your hip open. One more time. Okay, now let's start that hinge. So weights over your heel, flat back, you tip forward, and then rise up. And so you have to play with the amount you're pushing and pulling with muscle groups on both the back of the legs differently in how you feel a relationship. Let's switch to chest. To how you're pushing and pulling yourself into the wall or pushing away from the floor. We can go up to hands at the forehead if you wanted to keep progressing it. Now in future times you watch this video, because hopefully you'll do this more than once, you can just go right to the version that challenges you the most and stay with it. And the last one, we tried the longest torso, the longest lever. I guess it's really the same torso. And over and up. One more time. Hinging and lifting. Wow. All right, there's your moves.